are back. Spark FM Online, number one for urban and Caribbean music. And it is Super Tuesday, if you didn't know already. Tuesdays is when we bring you a local community leader who is vying for a chance at your vote for a district, for a statewide, for a mayor, for whatever it is. We want you guys to know what the people who are vying for your attention is all about. Today we got a special guest in the building. He is Mr. Samuel Hurtado, and he is running for city councilor for District 7, which is a little bit abandoned at the point. So you got a big job ahead of you. Welcome to Spark FM.
Well, thank you so much for having me here. I am very excited. This is my first radio show.
Oh, good. So we're going to make it the best.
So thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah. So District 7, tell us a little bit about your background and why you decided that you wanted to give up your life for a life of service.
I think that has been I tell people that has been my calling. Since I left my native country, Mexico.
Yeah.
I tell people I'm a proud immigrant. And I love, what I see in Boston, the opportunities this country can provide to you, but you gotta fight for them. They're not easy to get, although they are there. So I worked at the city council before for 3 years.
Oh, you
so it's
did?
not,
Yeah.
I was the chief of staff of former Mayor Kim Janey.
Oh,
for 3 years.
nice. Former first black mayor, Kim Janey. Yes.
So I know what I'm getting into.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people. I have the experience. I have the experience of knowing how to get things done inside for our people.
Yeah.
But my journey started outside, fighting outside for justice, equity. Since I landed in South Boston at the three housing developments, and I created my own nonprofit when I saw the need that there were many non-white families, Latino, Black, and other.
Especially District 7. That's
well,
that's
that-
my
well,
district.
but
Yeah.
that was in South
Oh,
Boston.
that was a South. Really?
was-
Oh, yeah, South. But
that-
we go down there to
that's
get a
good
lot of good
integration,
food.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that was right at the moment where they were trying to integrate the housing.
Yeah.
development. So
Yeah.
the first families, it wasn't easy for them.
Yeah.
But I noticed like most of the nonprofits tend to focus on, taking care of people.
Yeah.
But I feel like sometimes if you just do that, you keep people in the same cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for
Yeah.
me, it was all about, leadership development, community organizing, what we bring to the table, how we come together to fight for resources and services and demand those things so we can improve our lives.
I was reading some of your website, and you founded the Tenant Advocacy Organization to advising the mayor. Right now, housing is a big thing. So founding an agency that works with tenants, what was that like?
So in South Boston was called South Boston en Acción, the tenant organization, and that was primarily advocating for the rights of Boston Housing Authority tenants. So there were evictions, and when families don't know their rights, they receive a letter of eviction for missing a payment or whatever.
Yeah.
And some of them left because they didn't know that they could
Fight that.
the right to fight that and get a hearing. And so that's when I started quickly learning, like, no, don't pack. Because I knew other families who got so many letters who were there for a long time, they never left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which could be a good
It's
thing.
still
and a
there.
bad thing.
But if you don't know your rights, then you just live. So, that's one of the experiences I bring in terms of like advocating, educating tenants about their rights.
Why District 7? Where do you live
So,
now?
District, I live in Roxbury. I live on North Avenue.
Okay.
Close to, I don't know, Ideal Sub
Oh,
Shop.
me too. Because I seen your poster. I walk the dog all the way around the neighborhood. Like we walk. And so I've been seeing your posters and stuff. I'm like, oh, he's gonna talk to us soon. Yeah. So what have you seen around there that kind of was like, you know what, I want to run for city council?
I walk with my dog, Lolita. And she has helped me to connect with
Yes.
a lot of neighbors
Yeah.
and talk just about the different issues. And personally, I've seen it, but it has been reinforced by many
Yeah.
other residents in the area. That especially that part of Blue Hill Ave,
Yeah.
we don't get any love.
Yeah.
Like in general, Roxbury has been neglected for
Yeah,
a
yeah,
long time.
yeah.
I agree, yeah.
And
I mean, it's a running joke now, like Roxbury's been neglected so much that people like to, Roxbury, you come from the, dirty streets of Roxbury. And sometimes I'm walking, I'm like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Especially, like you said, especially
Yeah.
that area of like Dudley Street, Blue Hill
Yeah.
Ave, definitely.
Yeah.
It doesn't get a lot of love at all.
And I'm on the board of directors of the Dudley Street Neighborhood Initiative, and that's the organization that started Land Trust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that story is very powerful because the residents in the late 80s, they got together. They were fed up with the empty lots being used as dumping grounds
Yeah.
for people coming from outside and dumping trash. So they got together, they formed the organization, said, we're going to take over this land. And they built affordable housing. And now, those families are protected.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about that part of the district.
Yeah.
The diversity, that we have a mix of income. And I know some people are afraid of land trust. They are like, well, then people stay
They
poor.
give it to who they
There are
want,
other
yeah.
ways to, create generational
I
wealth.
sat in a couple of those meetings, and their
Yeah.
plans for it are really, really great. The task force that they put around it to make sure that the lands are going to things that people want and taking surveys and stuff. I think it's really great. Being an immigrant
Yep.
right now, we are. It is
mean-
a mess. Like you've got a hard fight not only for the people of Roxbury, but for American citizens or naturalized citizens from everywhere. Like
Right.
it's scary out there, and I get nervous about it.
Yeah.
I know, and every day, sometimes I try to avoid looking at the news, but
Yeah.
In some ways, we're getting some attention. I think is negative, but that's the opportunity for us. I see the future of our power in our unity,
Yeah.
and our coming together, because they are trying to divide us, and that has been the game for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't, they painted this picture like, yeah, you got to stay over there and you got to stay over there. But for me, my experience working with so many groups, and we all want the same thing.
Yeah.
And the more I talk to neighbors on that part of the district and other parts of the district, they all have an immigrant story. One of my neighbors was telling me, you know what? I came when I was 16 years old from Jamaica, from an island in Jamaica, and she will tell you everything about her experience growing up. At that time, it wasn't easy, but they were able to make it. So stories like that. There is a large presence of an immigrant community in the district, and not just from Latin America, but from many other countries.
What do you have to say? Because we have to, look at a little controversy. So what would you say to people who are like, he's a Mexican man and this is Roxbury? How is he going to represent for us as Black people in Roxbury?
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
that question, and I tell people like I was not born here, but I was born into this struggle.
Yes.
Into the struggle of poverty, substance abuse, lack of opportunities. I was my when you hear here like your zip code tells your future,
Yeah.
how far you will get, what opportunities you will have in life. So that was me growing up. But at 10, my father stopped drinking, and we all went through recovery, and now we are a successful family with business owners, educators. I have nephews and nieces in Germany with PhDs on biology, engineers. So I am a successful story when you get, early recovery intervention, a lot of mentoring, a lot of second opportunities. So that was my growing up. And I tell people like it wasn't meant for me to be here.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of similarities with a lot of especially men, women who grew up in here.
Yeah.
The only thing we didn't have was that the police was not at war. With us. There was a lot of police brutality, but one thing,
Kinda just stayed away.
unfortunately, we could buy the police.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
which-
yeah.
that's what at least you don't have here, unless you have a lot of money, you can buy a lot of fancy lawyers, but over
Yeah.
there, at least you can get out of some trouble.
Right,
by
yeah,
having
yeah.
some money. So yeah, I'm not black. I've been in the fight alongside many community leaders. My first campaigns, political campaigns, was Felix Arroyo Sr. For Chuck Turner.
Yes.
I have vivid memories going to meetings with Chuck at so many community groups, churches. So I've been there inside City Hall. That's all I've been advocating for. Better opportunities and doing racist systems that have kept us from opportunities. And now that I've been doing economic opportunity for 3 years,
Yeah.
like that's what I've been doing, changing those policies, creating new programs, and now we're seeing an increase in opportunities for Black, brown, women,
Yeah.
locally owned businesses.
Good.
And that's what I want to project to people. Like, listen, I'm not from here, but my heart, my passion is all for us about creating real economic opportunities.
I think that's the
Yeah,
American
yeah.
way, right?
Yes.
Like when we think about what America is, it is a land of opportunity. And creating those opportunities is what we literally have been begging every administration, no matter where it's from, for. We want opportunities, we want access to wealth,
Yes.
we want good homes, we want good neighborhoods and schools for our kids. I'm reading some of your priorities or your campaign standpoints, like reliable resident services, local investments in economic justice that we just talked about, affordable and stable housing. We already know that you have a lot of experience in that. Well, tenant services and making sure that, that we are advocating for our people. High value education, dignity for elders, coordinated responses to substance abuse, community spaces we can be proud of, safety and violence. You literally hit on all of the points. Of all of these, which ones, obviously all passionate about them, but which ones really kind of, you get behind?
After these 3 years, I think economic opportunities touches a lot.
Yeah.
Economic justice and affordable housing is number one. I
Yeah.
want to make sure people can stay in our communities. I don't think we are fully aware of the level and how fast our families are being displaced from
Yeah.
the private market.
Yeah.
We have a lot of great, subsidies, policies to protect people who are in some type of subsidy. But when you talk about the open market, that a corporate greedy investor comes, buy the house, displace those families, and then turn around and only rent it to students.
Yeah.
So that's happening
Yes.
very,
Yeah.
very fast. And Mission Hill is gone.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're coming after Roxbury. And that's what I want people to understand, that we don't have anything to protect those families who are in the private market unless we act quickly and try to buy some of those homes ourselves.
Yeah.
I would like to go as far as, like, listen, we gotta maybe have a policy to give preference to people who live in the district, who has been here
Absolutely.
for some time.
I think it's fair. Like, and people might say it's not an opportunity for other people to move in. But first, let's give opportunity to people who are still there, and then we can extend it out to others. So I think that is a key,
Yep.
a key thing
Yes.
to do.
So
I
you
like
will
that.
hear other people talking. I mean, I am full support of putting caps on rent. They shouldn't be more than 5% a
Yeah.
year,
Yes,
unless you
yes.
can justify that you did measures, investments. Freezing, rents for people who are already on some type of subsidy. Because when I'm out there knocking on doors, I hear people from different, brackets of income, and even people who are making 60, 70, 80,000. $500 increase a year in rent. That's a lot of money.
It
Yeah.
is. It is.
For me, definitely. So I want to build more housing. We need to build more housing, but we gotta be very intentional what type of housing.
Yes.
Just see what happened at the seaport.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the seaport, it's not for us.
No.
What can I afford? When they were
It's
doing
good to
the-
go down there on a weekend and have a good time, but then you go right back home where you're comfortable. You know.
Exactly. So we need to, because I used to live in South Boston. That was the first home I bought in South Boston for 13 years.
Yeah.
That's where I met my wife, and we have a lot of history there. But I saw that gentrification.
Yeah.
It changes so fast,
Yeah.
and now you go, it's a great density, but not people like
Yeah.
like us. So we gotta be careful about that in Roxbury especially.
Right. Yeah.
What do you want people, try to start to wrap it up, what do you want people to know about you and about your campaign and why it's important to elect you?
Yeah. I want people to know that I'm an independent voice. I'm not bad. I'm here for the people. There are ways you can find out. Go to our OCPS, that's what the state, where you can see who is donating money to your campaigns. I'm raising some money. It's a grassroots campaign where I'm running. I have a lot of inside help with my family, friends, volunteers, and I know how to run campaigns. So, and it's on the streets, it's talking directly to voters. So that's what I want people to know. That I'm a straight shooter. I have great mentors. Spending my time in Boston, organizing, leadership development, social justice, economic justice. Former Mayor Kim Janey was a great mentor to me.
Yeah,
She was
I
my
can
introduction
only
to
imagine,
Black
yeah.
Boston.
Yeah.
I started working with her in 2004.
Yeah.
We were doing education reform, going citywide, advocating for our Black and brown students in BPS. So my track record is there. It's very clear.
Yeah.
And people tell me, like, Sam, you don't just know how the pieces of the puzzle, you know how to put them together.
Yeah, we
That's,
need that.
That's what you bring to the table that none of the other candidates bring.
It's good to have ideas, but if you know how to put action behind those ideas, that is the type of experience I think that, a lot of people want to see happen.
Yeah.
And I respect the history and the feistiness of Roxbury.
Yeah.
That was with
Definitely
my
that.
core values, and that's what I'm about.
Yeah.
To do it, but we also need to come together, organize, bring new voices.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, we have some important voices, but I don't think they are being open to new voices.
Yeah.
And we need that, especially at this critical time.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
We
that
got to
was
think
happening.
outside the box. definitely.
Exactly.
And just sorry, from my last, before we started, Tony said 1 of 11 that is still running. It started off at like 17. Is that intimidating, having that much people around you vying for the same thing? Like, how does that work?
Well, officially there are 11
Yes.
Yeah.
who made it into the ballot.
Yeah.
Not really. I think, as I go around, people, especially people who work with me and who have been in this community for a long time, they like what I bring to the table.
Yeah.
I think it's important that we have options.
Yeah, options. Yeah.
People can look, and many people will go with relationships, and they may not be able to vote for me in the primary or preliminary because they gotta stay with someone they know. But I'm confident I will make it to the general.
Good.
And that's where I hope they can give me, a
Yes.
second look and a chance.
Yeah, I think you have really good things to say, and I hope that, that there are a lot of people who are informing themselves in this way and getting to know you and hearing what you have to say. Because, I mean, I didn't know much about you before, this, but I think that, it sounds like you've got good plans for when you're able to represent the neighborhood, and it sounds like you have a, heavy background, so that's
Sounds
really
like you've
good.
been doing the work regardless.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I think that that's super important too. That's what makes me, lean towards a certain person when I know that, or if I can feel like, regardless of whether the outcome is going to be, they're still going to be outside doing the work for the people.
Right.
It's good to, be in a position to do more. But I always want to see our leaders continue to lead even outside of a title. Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
and that's what I have been doing. Regardless
Yeah.
of the title or not. But that work I did during the 3 years at the city council, those have been the most rewarding
Yeah.
years of my life because it put me in a position where you can see the people who have gone through the struggle and they are seeking opportunities and now you're in a position of making a difference.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't see a lot of people. They get into some of these jobs And then
And
they
then they
sit in there
stop
and they're now just waiting to retire. I'm like, man,
Nope.
you came from this community,
Yeah.
especially you grew
Yeah.
up here, and
Right.
you're not taking this opportunity
Mm-hmm.
to use everything you have inside to make a difference for our people.
Yeah.
But it's on them. I know what I have to do, and that's what I'm going to do.
I love this. And that's a great way to leave it. I know what I have to do, and that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
We need to start donating to these campaigns. If you support one of these candidates, make sure you put some money on their books.
Yeah.
On their books.
Put some money on their books.
Because it's a struggle. It's a struggle out there to make sure that they continue to be seen and stay above the pack and relevant to our situation, especially you D7ers.
Yeah.
Outside. We
Oh, yeah.
outside,
Yeah.
okay? Samuel, thank you so much for visiting us today. We're gonna take some pictures so that we can tell everybody we met a famous man. And then we'll get back into the national and entertainment news after the break. See you in a second. Spark FM Online, #1 for urban and Caribbean music. This is Super Tuesday.
You're listening to Saucy and Friends in the morning with Miss Hot Sauce, Miss Tony, and Rockstar.
Uncle Obama. Got it. Good morning, and we are back. Woo-hoo, we are back, sir.
Sorry.
Mr. Hurtado gave us some little Mexican candies, pulparindo, tamarindo candies, and it is tangy. It's not spicy, it's just tangy, like, you got it on it.
Well, that's what tamarind. You know, tamarind usually have that little.
That. What
Yes.
is it sour?
It's
It's
like
sour.
spicy,
Tangy.
sour speed,
Mmm.
spice war.
Spice Girls.
Yes.
Like that.
It's time for our national news. Let's get through this so that we get some time for the entertainment.